Hey guys, and welcome to my December plan with me. So I sped everything up pretty quickly because I decided to do a gouache painting of the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights. And I've never used gouache before, so this was a very huge learning curve for me. So you can see to the left there that I'm actually watching a tutorial as I do this, but I think my biggest problem was that I started out a little too dark. And then also did not have the page wet enough beforehand, but we work with it. We go pretty quickly, just causing the edges to be a little darker than the middle, and then adding some green in, and then using my mop brush just to kind of blur the lines and edges a little bit so they're not like flat from the flat brush. And here I'm just using like a glazing technique, but I think what I should have done is wait for the paint underneath to dry. Again, I was following a tutorial, but I was going a little too quickly, I think, for for the tutorial to actually work properly. But it worked out. It looked better once it was dry. Just trust the process. So here I'm just adding white, titanium white gouache, and then I decided to add color over the top, thinking, okay, this will blend the white down because the white looked really milky. And then it turned my color really milky, and I did not like at all where this was going, so I decided to try to dry it and then try again. That was not good because I am so used to watercolors, you guys, where you can layer things very easily and they just kind of blend together because of the water, but gouache is quite a bit thicker than watercolor, and I'm not used to this medium, so it was a very big learning experience for me, but it worked out. It gets a little better. I start blending the green and the blue together. Still was not liking how it was looking, so I decided to kind of try to blend with some more water. That wasn't working either, so I just continue to work with my mop brush, blending the two together, and then finally I get out a sponge and decide to like blend the lines, and that actually really helped with the harsh edges. So when in doubt, use a sponge. It'll like pull up all of the paint. So then I dry it, and I decide to start to work on a little bit of the stars, and then I'm gonna add snow to the bottom here, and then we'll add trees on top. So basically what I was going for was kind of like the night sky with some snow and some trees. I really wanted the purple and the blue color scheme, so I'm glad it did turn out a little bit darker because the tutorial that I followed was quite a bit lighter. So I'm just going in with Prussian blue and black mixture here, just drawing some trees. This took about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. You just basically draw a line and then go down the line and get wider and wider as you go down, just kind of flicking your brush across. Trees are so easy to do, guys. You can do them in any medium, and I'm pretty sure they're the easiest thing I've ever painted. So basically just, yeah, taking little lines, doing some swooshes with my brush, and then I decide to kind of add this black line because that's where I'm going to put my December title. So again, letting it dry between the trees, and then we're going to add snow on top. So as you can see, I'm starting to add snow onto the branches and kind of thicken up the snow underneath the trees as well, so it's a little bit more opaque. And then we're just adding some more on top, just kind of smoothing out those edges. And so for the snow, I'm just adding it to like each branch, but in between, where I didn't put a black branch, if that makes sense. So like where there's holes or gaps between the branches, that's where the snow kind of filled in those gaps. But you just do you basically just put the snow on top of the branches as you go down the tree. It's really simple. And then I just kind of thickened up the top to make it look like it had actually fallen on top of the tree. And we're just adding the title now. This was super hard with thick paint and a brush. I do not recommend. I recommend using a brush pen or like a gel pen, white gel pen, and doing faux calligraphy, but I was in a pinch for time, so I just kind of did that. Now I'm cutting this to fit my B6 size journal. And I was in too much of a hurry to try to find my paper trimmer, so I recommend you use a paper trimmer. I was getting so off on these edges. They were not straight like I wanted, and then I wound up cutting too much on this side, the left side, off the top. So then it was way too short. I didn't account for cutting off the bottom, and so then I had to cut off some more from the right side. I just really messed up the cutting part of this, but we're going with it. We're working with it. It will turn out in the end. Hallelujah. So basically just cutting those down to size and then finding some glue. I did have to go run and get a glue stick. And then I cut around the edges just to round them to match my Stayology. This is a B6 Stayology that I've used all year long. This is my last month in it, so I'm really excited about that. I'll be starting a new journal next month, and I'll be unboxing that and setting it up with you guys. So subscribe for that. But anyways, we're just gluing this down. Really easy, simple, nothing to it, guys. You just put the glue on the paper and then just kind of maneuver it around till it's in the position you want. And as you can see, my painted fingers. So this is going to be the monthly log. I always do a monthly vertical calendar layout because it is so easy for me and I don't need that much space. I usually only have like one event on a day, maybe two at the most, so I don't typically need a whole lot of room to write. And this just works so well for my brain. Like, it's just so easy to set up. So I'm making sure this marker is the right color blue that I want. And I'm just going to do a December header at the top. I do this every month in every single calendar layout. I always start with a title. And this was so hard to do with the watercolor paper on the other side. Oh my goodness, it was messing up my calligraphy so bad. I did not think that through very well, but typically it's flat when you try to do this, but I'm at the end of this journal, and so it's very full, plus that watercolor paper is not fully filling the page, so that was a little bit more difficult. So I'm trying to like smooth up my lines, but you get the idea. Okay, so December, and then on this side, I always do my income and my bills. So I'm self-employed, as most of you probably know by now if you've been watching any of my videos. So I try to manually track this as well as keep track of it in QuickBooks, obviously, but I just like to have a written copy just in case I ever miss anything. You never know. So I just write down every time I get paid. I write that on the day, what I get paid and who it was from. And then on the other side, I write in all of my bills that are reoccurring bills. Some I have to manually pay, so I mark that with a circle. And then if it's a reoccurring, I mark it with a check mark inside the circle. And if it's not reoccurring, the circle gets filled in when it gets paid, if that makes sense. So it's pretty simple. It works for me, and that way I have everything all in one spread here. So I just basically have a whole month overview in one whole spread, and I love that. It's so easy for my business. So I'm just using the other tip of this pen. So this is a dual brush pen. It's not a Tombow. This is a set that I got off Amazon, and I will link those down below. But the smaller tip side is very fine. Like, it's not like the Tombow where it's an actual marker. It's a very fine tip. So I love that because I use that to set up these months. So I've just got a different kind of blue, like a deeper blue. So here I'm just going in with this finer tip pen, and I'm writing in all the days of the months, as you can see. Literally just 1 through 31. That's how simple it is. This is the original bullet journal method, so why fix what's not broken, right? So then to the left, I'm writing in the days of the weeks to match. So December starts on a Wednesday, so you go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you start a new week. Again, it's so simple. I love it, and it works. And then I'm using a ruler here just to separate the income and bills section, and then also mark my weeks. Sometimes I use a ruler, sometimes I don't. I don't like rulers when the journal is this full because it's so hard to like actually use. Like, see at the end there, it's just not working. So this is the imperfect perfect journal here. This is real life, guys. So basically I'm just drawing lines between the weeks starting on Monday, so that way I can kind of see where my week ends and begins. And then I do 1 through 31 on this side as well, just so I have the days matching up, and I know what day it is on this side of the page. I don't know, it's just, it works for my brain, okay? So then I decided to go without the ruler here, and I do get kind of a wobblier line. Wobblier? More wobbly line? That's not proper English, Renessa. Okay, but it works. So then I just decided to do some little trees as decoration here at the bottom. Literally just drawing a stick and some lines, and that's all I do for that. And then on this page, I'm doing a spending log. I do a spending log every month, but this month I don't plan on spending anything except gifts. So I'm going to name it Gift Spending Log. Now if there's anything in here that's for me, I'll just mark it in my category or my description. But basically 4 grid spaces over, 2 grid spaces over a line, and then 4 from the right side over, and that makes up your grid spacing. So basically I have a space for the date, the account that it is spent out of, and then the big space is for the category and description of the item, and then the small right hand side is for the amount, and that's how I split it every single time. Just works for my brain. And I was struggling so hard with this ruler, guys. Like, it was just not working. And I got like lines everywhere. But you know what? It's only my eyes that are going to see this other than you guys. So who does this in their journal? Do you actually fix it? Or do you just leave it as is? Because I leave it as is. I'm too much in a hurry to fix it. But I did decide to leave it at that. I tried to do a gift idea spread, but basically it didn't turn out the way I wanted, so I just kind of left it here. So as you can see, that is all for this setup, guys.